That being said, this transitions really well to the last thing I want to mention about the time loop, at least to really hammer home about it, and that it's how does the time loop apply to Zelda, right? So you take Ocarina
To the formula of Zelda, right?
right? So you take Ocarina and you have this idea of exploration, right? Discovery, adventure, classic stuff, right? Classic stuff that it has spawned into, the new age. Just everything is still taken from Ocarina in a good way. What you have in Majora's Mask is you take this time loop, you put it right in the middle of all of this stuff. You make Link not the focus of, like, when you put the time loop in, other people become the focus. They have their own routines. They have their own thing. What you could stand there and do nothing, and the world will end. The world will end. The moon will crash into the earth, and it will probably chew on it because it has giant teeth. But the world,
it doesn't really show you what happens.
Yeah, the world will end. You can stand there and do nothing. Like, that's the perspective it gives. And so the focus shifts from you, the hero on a grand adventure, to that guy over there, the mailman. That guy over there, the circus leader. That guy over there, the juggler. Like, I'm paying so much more attention to them. What do they do at this time of day? What do they do here or now? Or what can I, to progress the game? How do these people react when I do this? The focus shifts off of Link and onto the characters in the world, which is so beautiful. And what you get out of this is you're not exploring the land as much anymore. You're exploring the places in it, and you're exploring the people in it.
Yeah, which I think one of the biggest, the best examples of that is the Romani Ranch.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's good stuff.
The
way it's presented to you and like how you're supposed to get there is also
because you can't
brilliant.
get there until this after the second dungeon you mentioned.
You can.
Well, yeah.
So
that's
what
here's
I
the
mean.
thing.
That's
Here's
what
the
I
thing.
mean.
Yeah. So I didn't look for that until after I had already received the eggs once for the third dungeon. I didn't quite do well enough, or maybe I didn't get all of them. I don't know. But I restarted the day and I decided to go in that direction. And the guy's digging and he's like, I think it's going to take one more day. So like a giant boulder has fallen there for some reason. And there's a guy using a pickaxe to get rid of the boulder. And he's like, it's going to take one more day. So I skip ahead in the day. And he's like, I'm sorry, man. I think one more day, I'm sure. And so I skip ahead a day. And finally I get there. Really, this is good stuff, man.
It's really good.
She's sitting there, the Romani, the little girl, she's sitting there just outside staring at the grass, and you go to interact with her, and she looks up at you and she's like, who are you? And then she just ignores you and she stares at the grass again. So you go inside, you talk to her older sister who's running the ranch, and she's really distraught. She's like, if only I had listened to her. She warned me 2 days ago. If only I'd listened to her, this wouldn't have happened. And you're like, what the hell happened to this little girl?
Yeah.
And so immediately, you know what to do at this point in the game. I go back to day one. I immediately go get one of the big bombs, the powder kegs. I throw it in front of the guy, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And he runs away.
Scurries out of the way.
Yeah. And it blows up, and he's like, "Well, I thought I was gonna do it."
Yeah.
But I guess as long as it's gone, whatever. So you go in there, and she's like having fun, playing with her dog. She teaches you a song about the horse, and this is when you get a Epona. She allows you to ride a Epona around, and she's like, "Hey, you'll believe me, right? There's an alien invasion every year, and they come and take the cows." And you're like, an invasion?
Yeah, you're like, tell me
literal
more.
aliens come and invade the, what is this place called?
Romani Ranch?
No, the world. It's like Termina, that's right.
Which is a great name. Termina, like it's end or dividing line.
Yeah.
Like that's what it means. It's just all of that goes into the theme.
So you're like, excuse me, aliens? Sure, I'll come help you. So you go back at 2 a.m. and she sneaks outside at 2 a.m. She's like, okay, we're going to get started soon. Nick is gonna zoom in on your face. Right there.
Yeah, just anyway. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you go back at 2 a.m. and she sneaks out of the house just in her little shoes. She sneaks out and she's like, "Okay, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna go protect the cows." And a literal alien invasion starts, and you have to defend the barn from all of these aliens coming in to abduct the cows. Now, she knows that this happens every year, and she's been trying to warn adults, but it seems as though this year she was abducted and stuff happened to her. And it's really sad that no one believed her, because kids don't believe adults often enough. They think of them as crazy, but oftentimes kids know best. There's just something about kids that, anyway, I like kids. Okay. Kids are great. I think they're undervalued.
I think kids should be able to work. Labor laws are ruining this country.
That is not what I mean.
That's where he's getting with this. No, but you're right. It's such a great, because for me, this is my favorite quest in the game.
Yeah.
Because it lets you in, like, it's very clearly signaling to you, just wait till he's done. Wait till he's done. Wait till he's done. Wait till he's done.
Yep.
And you show back up, and you get to see the aftermath, and then you use the time loop to come back and fix it on
great.
your first day. And you know what the best part about it is?
Pray tell.
Is that all that happened by the time you save the world. She's still abducted.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you go out of your way to do it before you go to the clock tower. She's abducted. Again.
I suppose... Wow, that's an interesting...
Everything you do, if you don't do it on that last day...
actually happens. Which is interesting. Did you get the skull mask?
Yeah.
That allows you to talk to the skeletons?
Yep.
Okay. Did you get the giant wallet for 500 rupees?
No, I did not.
Okay. So that's the reason I was stuck in this rut on the third dungeon, because I was like, oh, that's fine. I'll just go back. I have the song now. Everything else in the game is set up to... Listen, we already know it's probably because I didn't wear the right mask. Anyway.
It's because he didn't wear the right mask.
Very likely. I will just say yes at this point, even though I don't remember. But I went to do the beachside spider house. And once you do that, some guy was like, oh, wow, thanks for clearing out that basement. Didn't even know it was there. Can I have this house? And, Link is like...
Yeah.
I mean, he's a kid. It's not his house. But anyway, he's like, oh, of course, not for free. Here's a giant-ass wallet.
Yeah.
Finally, which the rupee economy in this game is just abundant.
Yeah, which is rare for a Zelda game.
Now, you seem to have trouble with it.
No, not at all. I always had enough. I never had less than 500 in the bank.
Oh, I never had less than 1,400.
Yeah, see, like, that was the difference between you and me, is I often would just end the day with, like, 200 rupees and just not care.
Well, I always put them back.
Yeah, like, I straight up did not even take the time sometimes to go back and put it in, because I'm like, I have rupees.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't withdraw, because I don't know if the chests are in the same place in the remake, but if you put on the slow time song as soon as the day starts, you can go to the east side of town and get 100 rupees in an hour and 15 minutes if you're going slow. And this is before I had the bunny hood, so you can probably get it in less than an hour with the bunny hood. So, which is like 2 minutes game time, or 2 minutes real world time. So you can get it incredibly quick. So I never withdrew anything, and would always fill back up at the end of the day. So I think currently, which I'm not going to go back to it, but I think currently I have over 2,000.
That's amazing.
Anyway, we were just talking about
that
got stuck on
that
money.
Everything ends.
Yeah, so in that spider house, when you interact with the skeleton before putting the mask on, what's the fairy's name?
Tail?
No, Teal is her brother.
Her brother.
Anyway,
Toddle.
The fairy is like, these are just lost spirits. What are you gonna do? But they're enemies. If you provoke them, they'll attack you. But she's like, these are just like lonely and lost spirits.
Yeah.
Ellipses. What are you gonna do? Which really puts the rest of that into context. What will you do before that? The Romani
'Cause
Ranch is likely one of them.
Yeah, and it puts back into perspective that even though you technically as a player have unlimited time on that last day, you only have 3 days. On that last cycle, rather, you only have 3 days.
And there's a huge list of, like, are you going to reunite the
lovers,
married couple?
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The lovers. Are you going to get the woman her babies, the Zora and her eggs?
Yeah,
those are still gone. Those have been
Yep.
kidnapped.
Are you still going to go back and get rid of the snow covering Goron's mountain?
Yeah, those people are literally dying. You said you were in your house without food and power during a blizzard, and they're like, it's so cold. They can't get up here for shipments.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Ooh, this hits a little too close to home right now." As I'm shoveling snow into my bathtub to sustain myself and be able to flush the toilet.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, and everything in this game. I'm going to kind of transition to what I want to talk about next and just talk about it as a Zelda game and say the theme in this game, the idea that it's that inevitability constantly hanging over your head of that moon getting closer and closer and closer every time. And even when you finally complete the game and you get rid of the moon, get rid of the moon, you put it back in its place, there are still things that happen that you couldn't stop. You couldn't save, you couldn't control.